How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another week's video. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about bait casting versus spinning reels. Kind of which I prefer for different species of fish, different baits, techniques, kind of pros and cons of each one. Hopefully, this video will help you make an informed decision of if you're just getting started or you want to maybe look into more bait casting gear, or like spinning gear. If you're graduating from a push button into more of a big kid reel. But before we get into that, I just want to say I appreciate each and every single one of you for clicking on this video, watching this video, liking, commenting, subscribing even. I would love if you subscribe. That would be fantastic. Also, leave a comment and I will heart it. We can talk back and forth in the comment section. I love that stuff. That stuff is fantastic. And honestly, YouTube, this is a social media platform and we can be social on this media together. Win-win. But anyway, I appreciate y'all. I'm going to try to make this video a little bit shorter just because, honestly, I want to go fishing next week. So beginning of next week, we'll have another sit-down video. That's just how it's going to be. I'm going to be honest with you. But next week, next weekend, is when I get my fishing license. Oh my gosh. So we're going to get my fishing license and we are going to go fishing. Even if we don't catch anything and we absolutely just stink, we will post a fishing video. I feel like that's only fair to you guys, and then the fishing content is only going to continue to roll in as I invest into myself and this channel. As got an Amazon cart, not full, it has 2 items in it that's going to help with this content creation. And then towards the end of the month, I also will be investing in a GoPro so we can get that POV footage of fishing, because that will be insane when I'm throwing that topwater rat, cranking that son of a gun in, and BAM! Catch a big girl. Got a little carried away. I'm not going to try to digress too much in this video. I'm going to keep it on point. So, let's start with casting. It's probably, before I get into it, I feel like there's 2 subcategories of casting gear. There's bait casting, then there's conventional. I've never used really conventional. I've used bait casting. So, I'm gonna stay in my wheelhouse of what I know. So this honestly is probably one of the most complicated fishing reels to use. There's a huge learning curve to it. If you can, learn this while you're young. That is probably your best option. But the thing is, with this reel, honestly, you can do a ton of stuff with it because you can have heavier line, you can throw heavier lures with it. Downside, you're gonna wreck some line with this. I recommend starting if you want to invest in a bait casting reel, first look at Facebook Marketplace, see if you can get yourself a deal. But go with braided line. So braided line is a lot more forgiving when it comes to, you're not going to bird's nest as much, but also when you do bird's nest though, it's going to be a little more difficult to pick out compared to like monofilament. But with mono, you're going to bird cast more. And that's kind of my opinion of like using these and like what I've noticed. But with mono, like your line's like a lot slicker, and so when your spool is free spinning, it goes faster, and so it like flies out more. Because I've absolutely wrecked this reel, like not wrecked it, but I wrecked the line. It's like bad cast. But honestly, you can do that with any line. But starting out, go with the braid. But primarily, what species I like for this, bass fishing. That's the most common way these are used. But a lot of people also use bait casting gear for musky fishing. I like this for pike fishing, occasionally cat fishing. But yeah, mainly bass fishing is what I use this for. You use heavier line, throw heavier baits. Honestly though, spinning, like this is the way to go. If I could only take like one rod and reel combo out and go fishing, be a spinning rod and reel combo. So with a spinning gear, you have a lot more versatility because you can throw a little, you can get away a little bit with throwing some bigger stuffs, like nothing insane like a topwater rat wake bait, but you can throw like a popper or like a little frog or like a little hollow belly frog or something like that, and you can get away with it. It's not the best, but you can get away with it. So a very, very forgiving reel. You're not gonna bird's nest. You might get some like line twist, but that's a lot easier to take care of than your line flying off your spool. But what species and lures I like to use this for, so primarily more finesse fishing if I'm doing drop shots or wacky rigs, shaky heads, Ned rigs, or if I'm walleye fishing, or if I'm honestly cat fishing, I really prefer a spinning reel over, and even some pike fishing and everything, because when I was growing up, starting out into fishing, spinning reel is like, when my dad taught me and my brothers how to use one, it's what I'd use, because it's really easy. I threw everything on this. I threw big ass spoons on it, and I frog fished with a spinning rod and reel, and I never got why, when I was frog fishing, why I wasn't connecting with these fish. Well, it was because I was using a way underpowered setup for frog fishing. Like, it kind of worked, but I would have connected a lot better if I would have used a better setup, which would be the bait casting setup, because you have that heavier line. You can pin fish a lot easier with that. With spinning gear, you have to finesse them a little bit with the drag, since you have lighter lines. So if you got a bigger catfish, a carp, what have you, if you have something bigger that pulls hard, you need to finesse them with the drag. And that part of that is becoming a better fisherman, is learning how to finesse those fish. Because like my story last week where I caught a big pike in the kayak, if I would have not had my drag like super cinched down on my spinning reel, I quite possibly could have landed that fish. But a lot more versatile. You can catch if you're a multi-species angler, and if you're not just into like one type of like big species, go with the spinning reel. When we go saltwater fishing, we'll get saltwater spinning combos just because of how versatile they are. We're not going to go and get like inshore bait casting combos because it's going to be too heavy, and we can get away with using spinning gear and catching a wide variety of, you don't know what you're going to catch really when you go. That's a lie. Like, if you know what's out in the ocean and what's more specific to your area, you know what you're going to catch. But honestly, I'm going to stand by that comment. You never know what you're going to pull out of the ocean. So when we've been saltwater fishing before, we caught everything. I'm not going to say I caught. It was mainly my girlfriend because she's amazing at fishing. And I just scraped by. So on spinning gear, she caught everything from a pufferfish to like a redfish and saltwater catfish. Handled it, no problem. She is incredible when it comes to finessing and playing the fish. Granted, I taught her everything I know, so I'm going to toot my own horn there. But anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any further questions about this or like anything specifically, like let me know down in that comment section. If you have a video idea that you want me to do, I will do them. My man Owen, he keeps like coming up with these video ideas, and like I'm happy to do them. Last video that was suggested by my older brother Matt. Appreciate you for coming up with the video idea. So honestly, let's be social on this media platform. And fishing is coming soon. One more sit down video, then we'll get into fishing. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you next week.